Hey, what is up, everybody? My name is Chad, and this week, a little bit of culture, a little bit of learning. We're doing Japanese television. Now, this topic is way too huge for me to do any sort of comprehensive anything on it, so I just want to give you guys some of my recommendations if you happen to have access to YouTube or any countries that have Japanese television, kind of a leg in the door. Now, I know I do these intros for way too long, so we're just gonna jump right into it. First up on the list has a giant Japanese name, often shortened to Ametoku, which is just rain talk. Let me tell you, this show is a awesome look into Japanese comedy. It's a variety show hosted by two really famous Japanese comedians. They're a duo that kind of do that traditional straight man and like bozo or dumb guy act. Basically, each week there's a new topic, and each new topic has a bunch of experts or guests or just random celebrities that come on to talk about said topic. Now, from an outsider's perspective, this is probably just your garden variety show, but what a lot of people don't realize is that what these guys are talking about are like how comedy works, like the comedy scene in Japan. They interview a lot of comedians and talk about social issues that come about with their style of humor and how it compares to other parts of the world's humor. And they talk about social issues and it's very much a commentary on modern day Japan and how it's viewed through the lens of comedy a lot of the times. Maybe I'm reading too much into it, but that's every time I watch it, that's what I usually get out of it. And as a comedy nerd myself, I go to comedy shows every single week. I thought it was just an invaluable look into a scene that I probably wouldn't even be able to comprehend without talks like these. Now, I always mess up this next one's name, so I'm gonna read it from the prompter. Kyu no Suberenai Hanashi. For you folks that are crazy about learning different dialects, this is an amazing show for Kansai Ben. I actually first found out about the show working in a tattoo shop. The guy had a little VCR DVD player while he was tattooing people, and this was his kind of go-to show. So many hours of me interpreting and watching this show kind of led to me finding it on my own time and just really appreciating it. And I think the concept of the show is really unique. You basically get a group of comedians from all over the place. Typically they're from the Kansai area because Kansai is kind of like New York in the sense that you think of a lot of comedians coming from there. They have a die that goes in the center of the room that has all their names on it. Each person rolls the die, and whosever name goes on there has to tell a slippering or a slipping story. Now, the title of the show is actually a double entendre, I guess. I didn't pick it up. I had to have Yasu tell me. Basically, when your name is rolled, you have to tell a story, and the story has to go downhill quickly. So it has to be not what you expected to happen, and the group has to laugh. If people don't laugh, I think you're out. I've never seen anyone get out, though. Usually everyone just kind of chuckles about it. Now, the show's a little hard to understand. They can speak kind of quick. They can speak with mannerisms and phrases that maybe you're not familiar with because they're very region-specific. But if you love good, dirty humor, this show is packed full of it. Now, this next thing is actually a genre of programming. It's not necessarily one show. I couldn't even give a single example because there are so many examples of it. It's called Guremo Bangumi. Literally programming that goes off like the beaten path, that goes kind of off the wire. And I'm sure you guys have seen these if you've ever been to Tokyo Airport, if you've ever caught the glimpses of a Japanese TV show at your local Asian supermarket. It's always the thing where you have either 1 to 3 usually hosts, and they go out to different onsens or different restaurants and they all tried this crazy new dish or this gimmicky new restaurant, or they go and talk to foreigners about what they're doing in Japan. They're going out of what the average Japanese person would go to, and it's kind of like a travel show and a food show, but it's like an entire genre of crazy stuff. And there is no limit to these shows. If you turn on just about any channel of Japanese television, you will just click 3 times and you will find something like this on. I do like this because a lot of them involve fishing, catching, and eating, or they're just so weird and bizarre that they had one for Fukuoka, which is where I was from, and I found all sorts of crazy restaurants I never would have gone to in the first place. Frankly, I still haven't gone because they're too weird and too expensive, but it was fun to watch. Alright, next up is a request from my buddy Lin. He's a buddy of mine from Japan. He loved this show. This was his favorite daytime show, so I had to throw it in there. It's Gaki no Tsukai. Now, in case you guys don't know, this is probably one of the trendsetter, and I don't think it's original, but it was one of the big blow-uppy Batsu shows. If you guys don't know what Batsu is basically challenge shows with punishments. It's when you think of the stereotypical Japanese daytime show, it's probably a Batsu show. The host always asks the guests to do some sort of crazy, wacky thing, maybe that's socially awkward. And if they can't do it, they get an odd punishment, like, I don't know, a large fat man smacking you with a rubber chicken. Something that would make you go, WTF Japan. That's Batsu. Now, by no means is this a bad show, and it's not a bad example of it. This is one of the biggest versions of a Batsu show there ever was. I happen to very much enjoy it, but I think it's more instrumental in understanding like the history of Japanese TV, because this was like a defining feature in early 2000s Japanese television. And if you guys want to know like, hey, what's the defining features of all these different genres, you gotta watch Gaki no Tsukai. This is probably the easiest show to understand, that's why I'm leaving it for last. I watched it a ton when I was just learning the joys of Japanese daytime television or nighttime television, depends on when I got off school. And it's called Otona no Kisu Eigo. And one of the really nice things is it's virtually available in most countries on YouTube. It's incredibly easy to find, and I'm not going to link to anything because I don't want to get sued, but you guys can find it on YouTube pretty freaking easy, and usually with English. The concept of the show is really easy. If you guys do not know Yamapi, he's a really famous Japanese personality, actor, I guess, and a bunch of other things. And the concept of the show is he's becoming an international sensation. He's going to go all over the world and be mega famous, so he has to learn English as like the universal language. But his methods every week are weird and different, and it's really good for learning Japanese because you're doing, I think it's called reverse language explanation. So they're actually explaining English with Japanese instead of Japanese with English. So you're having to go around these concepts and learn a whole bunch of words associated with concepts. It's a big deal. Don't worry about it. If you're a lower intermediate Japanese learner and above, you could probably watch this and be pretty okay. And every week there's weird different methods that they do. They do a lot of like prank calling other celebrities to see and use English only to see how well they react and if they can meet up with that celebrity. Or they go to malls and they have Japanese people who have English shirts they don't understand, and they translate them, and it's usually really funny because the English is either nonsensical or offensive or weird. And it's a good time, and it's fun to learn all the crazy ways of learning English that these people have. Now again, this is not an extensive list. There are so many shows I like, so many shows I enjoy, so many genres that are fun. I can't possibly explain them all, so why don't you guys give me some? Why don't you tell everyone else in the comments down below what you watch, why they should be watching it, frankly why I should be watching it. If it's cool, I'll check it out. If I get enough awesome recommendations, I'll do a fan submitted video. Why not? Link them in the comments down below. And if you guys like this video, be sure to like it down below. It helps me freaking tremendously. It means that people can keep watching my videos and will find me, and I can keep doing this, which I like to do. And if you guys enjoyed this video, you like this video already, go check out my other videos. I put out 2 videos every week. One's a live stream, one's a Wednesday video about Japan, Japanese culture, frankly whatever interests me, but it's usually something around those lines. And yeah, that's about it for this week. Have a good week, everyone. Be kind to one another. My prayers are out there for London, and have a good week.